Now that we understand how percentages work, we can start converting percentages into fractions and decimals, and the other way around as well. So like we learnt before, percentages are basically a fraction, because percent means out of 100. So if we have 45%, this is the same as 45 over 100. So any percentage, we can convert it to a fraction by just writing over 100. Let's do a few more examples. 2% is 2 out of 100. And 77% is 77 out of 100. And you can have percentages bigger than 100. So 250%, that means 250 out of 100. And as always, with fractions, we're always looking to simplify. Always remember to simplify. So let's look at which ones of these we can simplify. Here, in the first one, we can see a common factor of 5. So here we have 9/20 simplified. 2/100, 2 is our common factor. So we'll divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. So 2% is the same as 1/50. 77, that's a prime number. No, we can divide by 11. But 100 we can't divide by 11. And we can't divide 100 by 7 either, so that's as simple as we can go. 250 and 100, we can divide by 10, firstly. That gets to 25 over 10. And then we can divide by 5 for each. So 5 over 2 is the same as 250%. If we want to go back from a fraction to a percentage, if the fraction is already out of 100, so 10/100, we already have a percentage because percent means out of 100. So 10 out of 100 is the same as 10%. Or 79/100, that's already out of 100, so that must be 79%. But if a fraction is not over 100, so if we have 3/5, all we need to do is make that denominator equal 100. So make an equivalent fraction, and we've practiced this a lot before. How do we make 5 become 100? We can multiply 5 by 20. And what you do to one, you do to the other. 3 times 20. So 3/5 is the same as 60/100. And now we can see the percent is 60%. So all we need to do is make the denominator equal 100. With decimals, it's a little bit different thinking, but we can think about the place values again. So if we have a decimal that is 0.15, here we have the tenths place value and the hundredths place value. So we have 5/100 and 1/10. And remember that 1/10 is the same as 10/100, because every place value is worth 10 of the smaller one next to it. So overall, we have 15/100 in total. And remembering how to convert decimals into fractions, 15/100 is the same as 15 over 100. And that we can get the percentage from straight away because we're out of 100, 15%. So another example would be 0.34. We have 34 hundredths, and that is out of 100, so we can see that that's 34%. If we want to skip the in-between step of making a fraction though, we can see that we started with 0.34 and we ended up with 34. So the pattern that we can see is every place value has moved up 2 positions. The 3 has gone to the tens, and the 4 hundredths has gone to the units. So, to convert a decimal to a percentage, we remember that to move place values in a decimal, we multiply by a power of 10. So to move 2 place values, that's going to be multiply by 100. And if we practice that, 0.34 times 100 gives 34. And that's our percent. And let's practice a couple more. 0.83. To convert that to a percentage, we times by 100, and we have 83%. If there are more than 2 decimal points, it still works. 0.152 times 100. That gives us 15.2%. So you can still have a decimal number as a percent, because this is showing 15.2 parts for every 100 parts. If we want to go back from a percent to a decimal, so if we had 83%, we just need to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of times 100 is divide by 100. So 83 divided by 100 means the place values move back 2 positions. So the 8 goes back to the tenths, and the 3 goes back 2 positions to the hundredths, 0.83. Let's practice a couple more. 74%, that equals 0.74. 0.74, not 5. And 122%, that's going to equal 1.22, which is greater than 1. So the pattern we can see there is if the percentage is bigger than 100%, then the number is bigger than 1.